Hey you guys, Big T here. I just want to show you a little something I do in my motorhome. And you can do this for regular camping or anything. We're going to be out here for 5 days, so what I want to do is conserve on water. So what I'll do is I'll just put my forks and knives and everything in this little cup of water, let that soak. Let pans soak in it, just a tiny bit of water. You don't need to use as much water as you think you do. And then I'm going to take this pan here, and this just has a little bit of hot water and soapy water. That I'll be able to do all the dishes. And then I'll just use hardly any water at all to rinse. And this will give me a lot of savings on my water. It's a great way to go. And sometimes in our trailers, we'll just run the water for a very long time, our motorhomes, and we're out of water very, very quickly. So this is just a way to become a little more water efficient and get all your stuff done. You can see I got a huge mess. I made a big breakfast, and I'm going to use maybe a half a gallon at most for all of this. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll put like maybe a quarter of a cup of water. I'll heat that up with a little bit of soap, and I'll just get all around the edges here. And I like to use these brushes because you can just hit them on the side of the sink and get out all the food debris. Same thing with your spatula. You don't need very much water at all. And then over here, I'll just transfer some of this water and clean whatever pan you got. Just a little bit is all you need just to get it loose. And then your spatula, your big knives and all that. And this will just all go outside. All right, so like I showed you before, this is a cup I'll use, and I'll just wash all these. I'm gonna put everything in here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the waterfall effect of rinsing, saving a ton of water. I've already washed these, so I do a much better job normally, but for time's sake, I'm just gonna rush through it. But these are all in here, okay? So now, this is where I'm going to catch some of the water. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a slight rinse. And that's all you need for your silverware. Do it all at one time instead of one at a time. You'll save a ton of water. Putting those over there to dry. Same thing with the bowl. Now, what I can do here, I'm swirling around. I'm going to do another bowl. And then this one, this just saves, and that's all the soapy water off. That saves a ton of water also. Same thing with this knife. I should have done that with that one. Okay, now with the pans, this is the soapy water. It's full of the dirt and debris. I'm just going to pour that out. That's what's left of it. So now I'm just going to put, that's all you need. You don't need a lot of water for rinsing. Get up in there with your fingers and all that. Give that a rinse. You might have a little bit of soap. Don't over soap, because that's the problem. You got to rinse all that soap. So here we go. This pan is done. That just goes over there. Now we got the big stuff. What we can do here, we can just get in here with the water that's left, rinse the spatula, the knife, be careful not to cut yourself. And now this big boy, this is our last thing. And you remember I was washing that before, so I'm going to kind of do 50-50, use just a little bit of water on here. This around, rinse the other side, and then our final rinse. This way you can just use a tiny bit of water, and you can see we use hardly any water at all. Okay, for really large objects like this, a little bit of soap, scouring pad is amazing. This was pretty bad. It just gets caked on with crud. So after you take off the majority of the big food, and you just take a sponge or a paper towel, wipe off the big stuff, and then just spray this with a little bit of maybe degreaser, soap and water. And instead of using water to rinse, you just use a paper towel. And if you do this right, you'll use very little paper towels as well. Your first go around is just to get off a majority of the stuff. Okay, so we're only using about a half of a paper towel. You really don't need any water at this point. Just go over it with a paper towel. And what you do with the paper towels is you just take them outside and you dry them, and then you can use it for starting your fire in the evening. So we've used hardly any water. We have a nice clean stove top. Might have to go over it there a little bit. And that's basically how I do my dishes in my trailer.
Up.
you.